Phil Spencer believes that Xbox Series X has a winning plan. He feels really good about Xbox Series X and how it stacks up against the PlayStation 5, and game reveals are going to be happening real soon. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Randall419, the man with the million, back again with another video. Hope everybody is having a great day. And if you could do me a big favor, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. So yesterday, Phil Spencer joined IGN's Ryan McCaffrey for an hour-long podcast, which I recommend everybody watching this video to go check out because it was really good. Now, in the video, they talk about Xbox Series X versus the PlayStation 5, new games being announced almost at like every single new event coming in the future. They even talked about Scalebound. There's a ton of information there, and I'm going to try to break it down for some of the things that I think are the most important. Now, I did a video on Monday covering Sony and Microsoft's response to if these consoles would be launching this holiday, and listening to Phil talk on the podcast, it definitely seems that the hardware is going to be ready for this fall. But the bigger issue, of course, is going to be the software. Minecraft Dungeons just recently got delayed a month, Wasteland 3 got delayed 3 months, and Ryan McCaffrey even brings up Halo. And he asks Phil a very specific question. Would Xbox Series X get delayed if Halo gets delayed? And Phil pretty much said in clear terms, they will not delay Xbox Series X for any individual game. So basically what that means is if Halo Infinite somehow does get delayed to 2021, you can still expect Xbox Series X to come out this fall. Now, this next part is the headline grabber. It's what I'm sure most websites went with for their articles and what I'm going with for the title of this video. Phil Spencer feels really good about how Series X lines up against the PlayStation 5, and this is exactly his quote. Ryan McCaffrey asked him how does he feel about Xbox Series X after the reveal of the PlayStation 5 by Mark Cerny a couple weeks ago, and I quote, "No doubt, I feel really good about how Series X lines up. Now, I think Mark and the team did some really good work on the audio processing that they talked about. Their SSD technology is impressive. We like that. We saw the work that they did, but you know, we took a holistic view on our platform. From CPU to GPU to RAM, to throughput, velocity architecture, latency, backcompat. You know, it took us years to get to that point. I will definitely have respect for any platform team that's launching. It just takes a lot of work. But I will say, when we finally saw the public discourse, I felt even better about the choices that we made on our platform, and I kind of expected that I would." Now, of course, you could argue, Rand, what do you expect Phil Spencer to say? He's not going to go, Ryan, you know what? Sony just killed us out there. We feel the Xbox Series X pales in comparison to the PS5, and some of that might be true. But when you look at where the Xbox is today and the hardware that they're building for next generation versus how they felt Xbox One was stacked up against the PlayStation 4, you definitely get a sense that the team is proud of what they accomplished. Remember, Microsoft set out to be the performance leader for this generation. Every single time before the reveal of the console at the VGAs, it was always mentioned performance leader. They wanted to set the benchmark. They were extremely confident that whatever they were building was going to be better than whatever Sony was doing. And I mean better, I just kind of mean more expensive, because that's what it really comes down to. And it definitely comes across in this interview. Basically, it's a very confident response that Phil Spencer had, and he didn't stoop to the low levels of taking shots at his competitor. He feels that he built a great console, and he still praised Sony for the things that they showed off during their reveal, the 3D audio and the SSD. Ryan McCaffrey then asked, hey, when are we going to be able to pre-order this system? Phil said you can probably expect to be able to pre-order it when we give you the price, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute, but more importantly, that you could probably look for pre-order options happening sometime in the summer. Now, when Ryan asked about the price of the Xbox Series X, Phil didn't tell him what it was going to be, but he did say that they had a solid price target for Series X, and they would have some agility to maybe react to what Sony would eventually price their system at. And here's what he had to say. You have to set a price target at the beginning for yourselves, and then you kind of roll in as you see the competition come in and start to go to market planning. I feel good about the price that we're going to be able to get to. I feel good about the price and the performance capabilities that we have with Xbox Series X. I feel incredibly strong about the overall package. We're definitely going to be continuing to keep our eyes wide open as we go towards launch, looking at what the competition is doing, but you know, we have a plan and we feel very solid about our plan. We think it's a winning plan. I believe we have a plan that can win. We've got to go execute, but I feel really good about the plan that we put together. Now, everything in that section to me points to $499. It's the price that I have been predicting ever since we heard about 2 next-gen consoles from Xbox. Phil mentioned before they won't be out of the argument in regards to price and power. We know the power is there, and the price is the only thing left. And honestly, I feel like he wouldn't say he feels good about the price if it was going to be $600, regardless of how capable the system is. That's just not a mass market friendly price, as proven by some mistakes, most notably the PlayStation 3. Now, of course, one of the biggest factors to Sony dominating this generation was the price disparity between Xbox One and PlayStation 4 at launch. The PlayStation was able to launch $100 cheaper and actually have the better hardware. And basically, Ryan asked about that, about the support Phil was getting from Microsoft, and that if they were watching the PS5 price point and if they had to change something, and his quote was essentially this: "We're getting incredible support from Microsoft. They're very linked into what our plans are, and we're going to make sure we stay agile on our pricing and that we have a good plan going into launch." It sure does seem like there is a big game of chicken going on between Xbox and PlayStation. Which company is going to reveal the release date first? But then more importantly, which company is going to reveal the price first? Because if Xbox comes out and says our system is $600, that could give Sony some leeway to price it at $500. If Microsoft comes out and says, hey, Series X is $499, that could give Sony some leeway to price it at $449 or $399 to undercut the Xbox Series X. But Phil Spencer does say they have the backing by Microsoft to kind of remain agile on that. So I'm going to be interested in seeing how that plays out. Now, my prediction is that both of these consoles will be $499, and the wild card is Xbox Lockhart, which interestingly enough, Ryan did not ask about at all during this interview, which I found to be really strange. And I find it really interesting that Phil is talking about winning again, how he feels Xbox has a winning plan and that he wants to win. We haven't heard Phil talk like that in those terms since he took over the job back in 2014 after Xbox basically fired Don Matrick because of the colossal fuck-up that was the Xbox One DRM launch, all that stupid TV stuff, which of course Phil kind of mentioned and laughed at during this interview. Now, if you're like me, you just want this system to come out. You're a little bit over the whole hardware talk, and it's all about games. And Phil talked a little bit about that during this interview with Ryan. He mentioned how he can't wait to show what the initiative was working on, and that he was joking around with Aaron Greenberg and Matt Booty, and they can't think of any new event that is coming in the future that they won't be showing new games at. We know that there is a digital event coming soon, and that primarily from this point forward, it's going to be way more about games coming from their first-party studios, and as well as some exclusive deals they have signed through Xbox Global Publishing. Now, if you don't know what Xbox Global Publishing is, it's a studio that goes out there and looks for content to sign exclusively for Xbox to fund those games. Think Moon Studios and the 2 Ori games that they put out this generation, or the upcoming game by Dontnod, Tell Me Why. Phil said they have a few of those unannounced left to talk about, and when you take those games and you combine them with all the new things coming from Xbox Game Studios, there are going to be a bunch of new game announcements real soon, and we're going to have a ton of games lined up for the next couple years to play. Phil was even asked about Scalebound, the game that Microsoft famously canceled a few years ago, and he put it in no uncertain terms: Scalebound is never coming back, it is not being worked on, and pretty much people have to move on from that. All in all, it was an absolutely fantastic interview that I urge every one of you to go and watch. Phil obviously feels that Xbox has the winning strategy, that Series X stacks up really nicely against the PlayStation 5, and that there are a ton of new game announcements coming from Xbox in the next few months. Anyways, guys, that is the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, share this out on social media, and hit that notification bell if you always want to be notified when I drop a new video immediately. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.